Watchdog 10 is tracking government waste. It's almost summertime, and that means a lot of people will be visiting the Short North.
Yeah, me included. Taxpayers are investing millions in a project there that's supposed to help drivers find parking. But Watchdog 10 has learned that while city money is helping developers, the public is not going to get the payoff it was originally promised. Investigative reporter Paul Aker is exposing the issue some people in the city deny is even a problem. Paul.
That's right, Kristen. The city says this money was for two reasons. One, to develop business, and the other, to improve parking. As you can see, millions of dollars later, the business is going along just fine. But parking, take a look. My investigation has found it might not improve. In fact, it might get worse. The arches of Columbus's Short North stand like a passageway to the arts, entertainment, and good times. But they also mark an area troubled by a parking shortage. Just curious if you could tell us what your parking experience was like.
I've been circling for a half hour. It's the worst parking in the city, by far.
Alex Ryder works in the Short North.
It's getting worse.
That's exactly what this Short North parking study found way back in 2005. The study revealed that the area suffered from a parking deficit of 3,277 spaces during peak times. It also recommended that the city install parking garages to create at least 500 parking spots to handle the, quote, large deficit in spaces. So Columbus City Council decided to deal with the problem by setting aside millions in property taxes to pay for the garages. Developers would get the money, called a TIF, to build the garages. In exchange, people here in the Short North were supposed to get 500 parking spaces to relieve parking problems. This council resolution from 2007 says it all. It identified a need for 500 additional spaces and says money was diverted to relieve parking overcrowding. But Watchdog 10 has learned those developers are approved to get up to $25 million city dollars to build their garages. But when you do the math, the public might not be benefiting much. It's netting zero additional parking. Watchdog 10 spent weeks pouring through city reports, council resolutions, and funding formulas. Here's what we found. Construction financed by city money moving along, but parking problems at a standstill. This parking garage going up with TIF money will open some spaces to the public, but is being built to support a retail and residential development at a new building called the Hubbard. And here, this company called Pizzuti is getting in on the money to get reimbursed for a garage used to support its coming office building and hotel. But what you won't see is relief from the parking deficit.
Whatever they're building will be accounted for so no extra spots.
That's true. Watchdog 10 found the developers are just putting in enough parking to follow building laws, but doing nothing to relieve the parking deficit. Here's how it works. Columbus City Code requires all builders to add a certain number of parking spaces for every square foot they build. Actually, Pizzuti and Hubbard didn't even do that. Instead, they got the Columbus City Council to approve a waiver called a variance. It allows the developers to build even fewer spots than the law would normally make them build. So bottom line, the developers get the city money, but taxpayers won't get the relief.
Yeah, that definitely makes me upset.
It also upsets neighbors like Amanda Ezekiel, who loves the new businesses, but not the drivers who steal neighborhood parking.
It sort of suggests that the city's more interested in the economic development than the residential people here.
Bill Webster is in charge of development for the city. Despite the math, Webster says the developers are doing what the TIF required.
I need you to explain to me then, how is it that the public is getting a net 500 increase out of this?
Because those 500 parking spaces are not there today.
But nor is the retail area, and that's the point. Those 500 spaces are going to handle the additional load of those retail and commercial centers.
And we asked the developer to work with the community. The developer identified how much parking that they felt was necessary to support their development.
This doesn't take away the 500 space demand that was created, that was noted and passed by resolution in 2007.
This is providing 500 public parking spaces according to the resolution, and this is the beginning of our efforts.
But it doesn't relieve it.
This helps to provide public parking that was...
You don't want to answer that question.
Well, I believe what you're trying to do is say that we're actually losing parking, and what we're trying to do is encourage development and encourage public parking.
So back in the Short North, it looks like frustrated drivers will just have to keep circling. And a spokesman for City Council sent a statement today. He says that Council closely considered this issue, and the Council actually believes that the projects will improve parking down here. We're live in the Short North. Paul Aker, Watchdog 10.